Well, hello and welcome to Everything You've Learned About Dating and Relationships is Wrong. My name is Jonathan Aslay, and I'm a personal development coach specializing in dating and relationships for folks who are in midlife. And if you want to know what midlife is, that's after baby making years and before retirement. So if you're 42 to 69, you're in the right place. And our topic today, why people end up in casual relationships. Now, since I've written something down, I'm going to have to put my glasses to read, so bear with me a second. I need to open this. And let's begin. Recently, I asked the following question to my tribe. Besides monogamy, what does commitment look like? And I received a variety of interesting answers. And what struck me was many of the responses felt generalized, including things like friendship and trust and open communication, and the list went on and on. But what I didn't read was something deeper, and that is what I want to explore today. Now, before I get started, I want to share something that fascinates me, and because lately I've been looking at mating 50 years ago, there seems to be a huge shift from how people mate today. While I'm going to generalize here, for the most part, if a couple wanted to be sexual, this is going back 50 plus years ago, they had to make the ultimate commitment by choosing marriage as their entryway into partnership and regular sex. In fact, they'd make vows that looked something or read something like this. I blank take you blank to be my lawfully wedded husband or wife, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, until death do us part. That's some pretty heavy shit, and yet so few words that speaks volumes. Now let's fast forward to today. There's almost no need for a formal commitment to have sex, and I would suggest that a man and woman have every right to treat their bodies, sex, as they wished, and there's no need to have a government involved, i.e. marriage license, to enjoy and experience another human being. But what's interesting, and here's the thing, many dating coaches imply the need for commitment before engaging in sex, and yet these same coaches discourage defining commitment as it once was in wedding vows. In fact, the idea of defining it almost seems like people are such delicate flowers that if a man or woman remotely seek to label a relationship before it goes too deep, it will disrupt the balance and scare someone off. Well, I'm here to say that's bullshit. Do you want to know what one of the reasons why I believe dating and relationships so hard these days? Okay, I know you didn't ask, so you're welcome to stop listening here, but if you choose to go on, this is merely my point of view. One of the reasons why dating and mating and relating is so hard is both parties aren't on the same page. Nor are they expressing what they really want from the experience. Basically, the idea of commitment is almost foreign, and most are too afraid or even avoid the discussion. Now, I know some of you will argue, I'm very upfront in wanting a relationship. And yet what one person thinks that means might be completely different than what the other thinks. In addition, many of you might argue that the point of dating is to learn about another person and if they're a good fit for a relationship. But my argument would be, don't you both want to know what you're striving for before ever you get deeply involved with another human being? The fact, the way I see it, is most who are seeking love at midlife have no clue what commitment looks like other than monogamy. There's no declaration like there once was when there were wedding vows were the norm. If one doesn't know what commitment is, how can they make any agreements? Therefore, dating and relationships seem more casual these days, and maybe even a little bit of fantasy and hope that if we like each other, it'll just work out. Okay, I know I said a mouthful here, so let me get to my deeper point. Look, I get that the reality in life is, unlike 50, 60, 100 years ago, most of the time you met somebody that you mated with who you knew. You were familiar with them. They were in your tribe, they were in your community, they were in your workplace. You were friends maybe before you had to there was a lot of connection already there. So when you made that ultimate commitment, it's because you felt comfortable with this person, you felt compatible, and you both most likely shared the same values, and you lived in the same community, and you could blend lives with one another. And if you were good friends, you probably knew if they were an emotional grown-up or not. Today, we are meeting total strangers. One of the biggest challenges is that it takes time to develop that know, like, and trust and deeper intimacy. And here's what's vastly different than before, is with a big melting pot of people here, you could have a variety of different values between one another. You could have different lifestyles with one another. You don't know whether or not they're an emotional grown-up until you spend time with them. This is one of the reasons why having a discussion about what commitment looks like is hugely important. So I'm going to be personal here. I'm going to share what it looks like for me. And maybe this will give you some fodder for yourself, maybe give you some clue on maybe what you might want to be looking for. But for commitment for me is something like this. In the early stages of dating, you know, once we get past the get to know you point of a first 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7 dates, in the beginning stage of a relationship, is that we spend 3 or 4 days and nights a week together regularly, doing shared activities, hobbies, mutual interests, spending time with family and friends, and we're moving towards some sort of teamwork kind of capacity with one another, where we're actually supporting each other's dreams and desires, as well as being open to being vulnerable to deeper intimacy. And deeper intimacy, not vulnerable, let me reframe that. To be authentic and transparent for deeper intimacy by being vulnerable with one another. That's my vow. That's my commitment. As well as my actions match my words. When we plan dates with each other, I'm going to make those commitments to one another. I'm going to want to go deeper. I want partnership. And I've already got a structure of what it looks like. Now, some women go, wait a minute, 3 or 4 days, and I'm not saying in a row, I'm just saying collectively in a week. That's way too much. I can't spend that much time in a relationship. If you can't spend that much time, then we're not a match for one another. I'd rather get that out quickly and say, hey, look, we're not a good fit for one another. I'm very crystal clear on what commitment looks like for me. And that's my invitation for you today, is to start really thinking about, besides monogamy and exclusivity, what does commitment look like for you? Because if you don't know what it looks like, the other person doesn't know, they can't read your mind. And if you think you're in a relationship with them, that doesn't mean you're in a fully committed relationship leading towards partnership. It just means you're spending time together and you're monogamous with one another if you're having regular sex. Well, hopefully if you've agreed upon that. So my invitation for you today is to go deeper than friendship, trust. What was written here? Let me go back to what was said here, because this is what was interesting. Friendship, trust, open communication. The list went on. But I'm talking about be specific. What does it look like on a day-to-day basis? Really map it out. Put it on a calendar and design how you want your life to look with some partner. That's what commitment looks like. Not friendship, trust, open communication. Those are the qualities of commitment. I'm talking about the specific attributes, the specific details of what you want it to look like for you. And maybe you will move from a casual relationship, which so many people are in, to an actual committed relationship. And if you really want to go that next step of partnership, which you don't have to, you can be fine in your casual relationship. If you want to go that step in partnership, then it requires both being vulnerable and open to go deeper. All right. Well, I hope you got value from this video. If you want to create some conversation, let's write some comments here below. If you find that this is valuable to you and you'd like to follow me more, go to my website. I have a great group called Midlife Love Mastery where you can sign up, and it's a great membership group where we do things just like this on a daily basis. And if you want some deeper coaching and working with me privately, go to my website and let's schedule a call where we can work together. Conscious coupling, a better way to date, mate, and relate. That's what I talk about. Okay, I want to send everyone off with a big, gigantic Jonathan Bear hug. Wishing you a super duper wonderful, fantastic day. Thanks so much. Bye now.